Hi, Stephen. How are you?
Hi, Ali. I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. How is weather in Newcastle? Here's sunny, shining.
Yeah, very nice and sunny. Not that you can see from my vantage point, which is the office desk under the stairs. It's a bit like Harry Potter for me here.
Okay, very good. Okay, let's start our conversation so our followers shouldn't wait for a long time. We have 30 minutes to answer all the questions as much as we can. So could you please tell us about university, where is located and when was established, and how many students do you have, international, national, undergraduate, postgraduate, ranking, all these things, please.
Okay, I'll start. So if I get carried away, just stop me.
Oh,
So
no problem.
Newcastle University, so we date back from 1834. So we actually started off as a medical school, and it was a
Okay.
medical school then of the Federal University of Durham. But we became independent from Durham, over 50 years ago. But so we can trace our origin back to 1834. We added on other disciplines later on, such as engineering and then humanities. So we're quite a broad university in terms of the kind of things that we can do. We're located in the northeast of England, so that's close to the border of Scotland. So we're the
Okay.
northerlymost English university, so just before the border of Scotland. But it's got an international airport with direct flights to Amsterdam Schiphol, Paris Charles de Gaulle, London Heathrow, and typically I go that way if I want to go to Istanbul, or you can go to Edinburgh, which is just 90 minutes away, and there's a direct flight with Turkish Airlines as well, so there are plenty of options to get there. In terms of where we are in the city, we're actually located slap bang in the middle of the city centre. But for listeners there, for viewers there, Newcastle is not like Istanbul. It is much more compact. Yes, there's a river. There's a lovely quayside area, but you could walk across the city centre in Newcastle around about 15 to 20 minutes. And the main university, you're actually 2 minutes away from the main high street in the city centre, so it's a good location to be in. In terms of quality and ranking, so the main one we look at is the QS World Ranking. So we're currently ranked 146. And just recently, the Times Higher Education had announced some new rankings which are on the basis of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And of that, we came out roughly 11th out of the 744 institutions that participated. So it means that the stuff that we're doing at Newcastle is very much relevant to the big things, the big planning, the big ideas that the United Nations and government wants to do for things like sustainability, to have lots of everything, enough for everybody forever. That's the aim. These are kind of quite big ticket items. And so we have lots of our schools working to try and develop those areas. So I don't know if that is that enough as a kind of a starting point, and then we can add
Yeah, it
details
is.
as
Yeah, what
we get
about
more.
the student numbers? How many students do you have?
So student numbers at the moment, we've got around about 27,000 students, of which international students account for about 5,000, 6,000 if you include EU students. So around about 20% of the students will be
20%, yeah.
international. And it varies. We tend to have more international students at postgraduate level than we do at undergraduate. And it's mainly just because of the demographics and
Okay.
also for the cost.
Okay, very well. As we know, Newcastle University is one of the Russell Group University. Could you tell us about the Russell Group? What does it mean, Russell Group?
Okay, so Russell Group really it was named after the place when they first had the meeting, which is the Russell Hotel down in Russell Square in London. And effectively, it's a kind of a lobbying body of 24 top universities. We'd like to think top anyway. But what they do is it's universities that have very strong research ethics, very good research portfolios, and typically they're very good at getting research funding. So this will be funding from either government bodies, it could be from private companies. But the idea is that, a lot of the Russell Group universities tend to be quite good at making successful bids for research. Other things, if you look at current PhD graduates, 60% of all PhD graduates come from Russell Group universities. So it tends to be an area where you will find lots of research, and we as a university work on the basis of research informed teaching. So it's not just teaching, we're researching, and then that research becomes part of our teaching. So it means things are being refreshed constantly.
Okay, very good. What can our postgraduate and undergraduate students study at Newcastle, like engineering, politics? What else they can study? What is popular for Turkish students? And the final one is, is there any placement option? If there is, could you tell us about placement options?
So I think in terms of when you're looking at the subjects that you can do, it's sometimes easier to start with things you can't do. So when you look at it, so we can do medicine, you can do dentistry. We don't do nursing. When you look at the engineering, so we do electrical, we do mechanical, we do civil, we do chemical. What we don't do is aerospace. But if you want to work in the aerospace industry, start off as a mechanical or electrical engineer. So there are lots of areas. We've also got some niche areas such as marine engineering. And for places like Istanbul, where you've got large sea
shipping industry,
so therefore it's useful to know we've got those kind of programs. So it could be things like marine architecture, it could be shipbuilding, it could even be offshore engineering. So it's like I say, marine engineering. So it depends on where you want to be working. Obviously, lots in terms of humanities, social sciences, very strong for fine art. We're #1 in the UK for fine art. Also very good in the world rankings for things like architecture as well. So very broad areas. Also strong in terms of the medical sciences. So key areas at the research levels, things like cancer research, stem cells. Other kind of niche areas, biomedical engineering. So this could be things like prosthetics, bionics, those kind of things as well. What courses are popular for Turkish students? And I'm just looking at the kind of list that I get, so it does tend to vary. So things like clinical psychology, that tends to be quite popular at the moment for postgraduates. Mechanical engineering, lots in the business school, and our business school is triple accredited. So that's AACSB, AMBA and EQUIS accredited. So it's the triple accreditation that you're looking for. Also things like architecture, computer science, very, very strong, over 60 years of experience with us. Geotechnical engineering, biomedical, law, and then international relations and politics. When you're looking at the undergraduate degree programs, typically it's things like computer science, business, architecture, law, engineering, medicine, most of the professions. And all our undergraduate degrees will normally have an opportunity for work placements. So it could be a built-in part of the program, such as our Flying Start for accounting, which has placements with PricewaterhouseCoopers. Or it could be that the people take an intercalated year of study and then they go work. And we've got a very, very good Universities Career Service whose job it is to help people get placements. Obviously, university is a stepping stone to a career. Obviously, we don't think it's the final step. It's probably one of the first steps. But if we can get you a good job, hopefully you'll think good of and favour would be about the university you studied at.
Yeah, absolutely. We have question. I hope you can answer. How many places for medicine for international students do you have?
So for places for international students at the moment, they are still capped. So the places that we have for international, around about 26, 27. And when you think that our intake per year for UK EU is around about 300, so it's a small proportion, so less than 10%. But the reason is because that will tend to be linked to the places that are available for the F1, F2, which is a formal requirement of people when they want to qualify as a doctor. So the 5 years of medicine, then the 2-year foundation. There is talk that they're going to remove that cap. If they do remove that cap, then we will be able to increase the numbers. The danger is, though, the fees will go up. Guaranteed the fees will go up.
I believe so, because it is one of the most expensive courses. Okay, we know Newcastle has got gold medal from teaching and
teaching excellence framework.
Excellence framework, sorry. It's so nice. So could you tell us about gold? What does mean gold medal?
Okay, so the teaching excellence framework came about because there were lots of mechanisms for actually saying, okay, they're good at research, they're good at these particular subject areas, but nobody was actually doing any kind of rankings to see how universities were in terms of the teaching that they do. So at the school level, you've got people like Ofsted, you've got, we have the QAA, the Quality Audit Authority, which monitors the quality of the degree programs. But how can you see if which is better at teaching? And I think there used to be the old saying that you were either good at research or you're good at teaching. You couldn't really be both. And then when they brought in this teaching excellence framework, so it's independent adjudicators who make the judgment. There are 3 rankings available, which is gold, silver, and bronze. So the highest you can get is gold. There's no platinum. And we got gold. So we're one of 10 Russell Group universities to get the TEF gold. So not all Russell Group universities have got the gold. So we're very, very happy with it. And what that's saying is that we're recognised as having consistently outstanding teaching and learning outcomes for our students. And so as a student, especially an undergraduate student coming to university, that should hopefully be a kind of, some kind of reassurance that you know the quality of the teaching is good. Obviously, if you get gold, it's better than silver, and silver's better than bronze.
Of course.
That said, I would say the quality of teaching in the UK sector across the board tends to be quite good anyway. I think the UK is often seen as being very, very good. I think you always got to remember with these kind of rankings, again, this is only a national ranking. So TEF Gold in the UK doesn't compare with anything in America. They don't do it. They don't. Things. So just for always be aware that this is only for domestic markets.
Yeah, domestic market. But again, it's very very good for the students who wants to study in UK, so they can understand how good university is. As you say, you are 10 universities out of 24 in Russell Group who has got the gold medal. This is important,
I'm much happier that we got gold than if it was anything less than gold, because then it would probably be a bit more of a difficult conversation, and maybe I'd be downplaying the ranking a bit more. But if you've got the gold, it's easy to say, okay, it's the highest that we could have got, and we got it. So we're fairly happy with that.
Excellent. What about the entry requirement for Turkish student for undergrad and the postgrad? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so in terms of undergraduate, we do consider some students who are coming with the Turkish Lise Diplomacy. It is a fairly small list. We don't accept every school for direct. And if anybody's got any questions about whether my school is actually on the list, they could speak to you because you've got the list as well.
Yeah, we do. Yes.
And so therefore, people who are coming in, we're normally looking for around about 85 to 90, depending on the degree program they're applying to. So for example, people applying for law, direct entry, we're looking for normally 90% and it's normally the average over maybe years 11 and 12. For computer science, 85, maybe they're asking for 80 in mathematics. And for the sciences, again, 85, probably asking for 80 in both the maths and the physics. But then in terms of other qualifications, we take people on the basis of the IB, A-levels, the American high school graduation diploma. All those rankings, all those requirements are actually on our website. So if you want to check. You can go along to the individual course programs and see the information there. And that should give you details about exactly what subjects we require, what levels we require for most of the standard qualifications that people are doing. But we take into account this year is going to be quite unique. Obviously, with the COVID-19 pandemic, there's been lots of disruption. I would expect there's going to be lots of people being a bit more sympathetic in terms of the inquiries that are coming through from students. We're still waiting to hear what all the different exam boards are going to be doing in terms of reacting to it, what kind of grades they're going to give, how they're going to come about getting those grades. So I think we will be a little bit more sympathetic, and maybe there's a bit more discretion this year than there has been in previous years.
Okay, very good. What about the fees? Sorry, I think we missed the postgraduate as well. Could you tell us postgraduate minimum entry requirements, then after fees?
Yeah, so at the postgraduate level, typically we have a lot of our degrees stated on the basis of a UK 2-1 or 2-2. For a 2-1, that normally means a GPA of 3 and above. Out of 4. For a 2-2, we're normally looking at 2.8. We might be able to show, again, a bit more discretion because we are aware sometimes the first year average can be low because there's that adjustment period. So we sometimes look at what we call exit velocity. Are the grades going in the right direction? Also, if you're applying for something like engineering, if you've got relevant work experience, that will be taken into account. And similarly with a lot of the degrees, if you're doing a degree in something and you've got relevant work experience, we might take that as a kind of a bonus. So if your grade's a bit low, but you've got lots of good relevant work experience, it might balance it out.
Balance it.
So they will look at the different things.
Okay.
In terms of the fees, because you mentioned the fees, so I can go to the fees. So they do vary depending on whether you're doing humanities. So humanities tends to be easier to teach because it's classroom based, so therefore lower overhead. So at the moment we're looking at around about £18,000, which is roughly 20,500 euros or 156,000 Turkish lira. If you're doing things like engineering, that jumps up to 22,800, so £22,800 or 26,000 euros or 198,000 Turkish lira, with the exception of medicine and dentistry, which are at 33,600. So that's much higher. But I think people know, and at say postgraduate level again, most degree programs will be between, I'd say, the 18 to the 22,800 bracket. Only specific research projects that have high bench fees and things like that would be charged higher, because we don't charge individual bench fees. We set the fee regime depending on the project that you're going to be doing. So that way it's easier if you're sponsored, because then the sponsor knows exactly how much it's going to cost.
Okay, let me talk in Turkish, explain something. Sevgili takipçiler, Newcastle Üniversitesi undergraduate'ler için, yani lisans programları için bazı okullar, tanınırlığı olan okullar, üniversite tarafından tanınan okullar için 85 ve üstünde not ortalaması ana derslerde kabul almanız için bir yol. Yani %100 değil ama buradan kabul alabilirsiniz. Postgraduate'ler için de not ortalamanız 2.8 ve üstü. Ama belli bir tecrübeniz varsa bu tecrübenizle not ortalamanız biraz da düşük olsa yine şansınız olacağını söylüyor Steven. And also diğer bir konuda eğer not ortalamanız 1 puan 2.7 veya 2.75 ise bu senenin özel şartlarından dolayı da şansınız olabilir. Dolayısıyla müracaatlarınız için bizimle irtibata geçerseniz bunların bütün detaylarını paylaşır. Mümkün olan en iyisini sizler için yapmaya çalışırız. Okay, Steven, what about the scholarship? Do you have any scholarship for Turkish students?
Yeah, so we have the main scholarship for undergraduate and postgraduate, which would be the Newcastle University Excellence Scholarship. So it is on the basis of excellence, but it's done so it's a decent amount. So currently at 50% of the tuition fees. Conditions apply, so you've got to have an offer. And once you've got the offer, then you apply for the scholarship. And that's open to undergraduate and postgraduate taught students. We also were successful in bidding for one of the British Council Great Scholarships. And that's for postgraduate taught. The value of that is £10,000. So, so there are a number of scholarships that people can go to. So, but again, the conditions are apply for the degree program, get an offer, and then apply for the scholarship. But be aware deadlines are fast approaching. So I think deadlines are really around about the end of April. So if you've not already applied, make sure you apply, but make a good application. Think about the value of the scholarship. These are sizable amounts of money, so make a good application. Don't make a lazy application, because otherwise you're just wasting your time.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Okay, could you tell us a little bit about accommodation?
So accommodation, so lots of options, and again, like the city, very, very compact. So most of it is within easy walking distance of the university. So if you're looking at our most recent purchases, so £70 million investment for the university, Parkview Student Village, right next door to the medical and dental school, right next door to the sports centre, also close to the parks, which is why it's called Parkview, and then 5 minutes away from places like engineering, about 7 minutes away from most of the humanities, and about 10 minutes away from the business school. So
almost like a campus school.
So it is, when you think about it, it's very much, the university campus is about 50 acres, but then we have some buildings just on the outside, such as the business school, computer science, but all within 5-10 minutes walk of each other. So accommodation, the price varies. So undergraduate per week, you're looking at between £100 to about £150. Postgraduate, anywhere between 96 and 140. So that's the kind of price range. And like any accommodation, the better the facilities, the better the location, the more expensive it will be. So
Absolutely.
I'd like to think there's accommodation there for most budgets. Most of the accommodation we have nowadays tends to be self-catered, because people want to eat when they want. They don't like being told what they can eat and when they can eat it. And also, because you've got the city on your doorstep, why would you want to be restricted by just what's available in your cafeteria? So the idea is you can get food from anywhere, and then you've got Deliveroo and all those things as well. So you've got plenty of options. So prices are pretty good, and especially when you compare it to, say, London, the capital. So it's a lot more affordable. The other good thing about the accommodation as well, if everything's in walking distance, you're not going to spend a great deal of money on transportation. So taxis and Ubers and metros and things like that. There is a metro system in Newcastle, so you can get around. But most places are within walking distance. So it's very, very good. As I say, it really depends on the budgets. Most accommodation will be en suite. People want their own bathroom.
Yes, absolutely.
I share a house with my wife and 4 daughters. More bathrooms are needed. So it's a case of that. I know that's the holy grail of having your own bathroom.
Especially nowadays, if you're stuck at home for people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, very well. When you say London, I want to ask one question. How far from London, Newcastle? And plus, if I'm not wrong, could you please correct me? Newcastle is second or third biggest city after London?
I think a little bit further down than that. So the population of Newcastle is around about 300,000. So it's not massive. Second is Birmingham. So London's massive, then Birmingham. You've got Leeds, Sheffield, and Manchester. They're much bigger. So Newcastle, still a city, but population about 300,000. So when you think about the student population in Newcastle with ourselves in Northumbria, is around about 60,000 students. So students in Newcastle make up about 20% of the economy.
20%, yeah.
So it's really good, and that's good for students, because it means when you go to the shops, you can get student discount. Students talk about things like uni days where you can get discount. Typically, it's around about 10%. In some cases, it might be more. But ask for discount. Do I get student discount? Show your student card and see what's available. But don't forget as well, we also have a London presence. So we've got an offshoot of our business school in London. So those students, maybe they want to study in London, but they would prefer to be at Newcastle. They could go to our Newcastle University London campus. We only teach business there, so it's only business school. And the reason it's there, it's because it's there close to the city of London. So if you want to do master classes, if you want to get some good work experience, that's a good location.
That's a good location.
And where we are, Russell Group University in London, that's good for us. But we've no plans to expand that beyond the business school. So
business,
it's
just business. The business. Okay. One of our followers asking, do you have any planned summer school for this year?
We don't.
Even online? No?
Yeah, so I think at the moment there are no plans. It's one of those areas that we do look at. We used to historically do biomedical sciences summer schools, but I think interest wanes over the years. I think it comes back. One of the big issues that we got is a lot of the academics like to take holidays during the summer. So trying to do things, the university, we're there, but academics maybe not there. They're the people we need to actually do these things.
Okay. Another question, virtual open days. If student would like to attend an open days, are there any virtual open days at Newcastle?
So I think there are at the moment, and what they're also doing is taking lots of videos. So it's a case of if you can't go and see it in person, you can actually go, and we've got a fairly comprehensive video library. So if you go along to our university website, I think it's just www.ncl.ac.uk/discover, And then that means you can discover the buildings, you can see videos, and it links to our YouTube channel, so you should be able to see some of that. Also, for people who've got offers, they will be getting sent details from the various schools about maybe school or faculty open days, virtual open days that they're having. I know that some have just been recently taking place, so some in our School of Engineering. So I would hope any offer holders should have had that information. Key thing to mention, if you've got an offer, keep on checking your mailbox and check your spam filter just in case the message has got picked up and blocked by the antivirus features of your mail.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about student life, social activities, clubs, sport opportunities? Once the student arrived in there, what options they have? You know, this is important for the student.
The key thing is that I think you name it, you can do it. Newcastle is often seen as one of the safest and friendliest cities in the UK.
I know,
I think you're speaking to one of our current students tomorrow, so it's a case of speak to them just to find out. I'm quite biased. I'm paid to say nice things about it, but my two eldest daughters both study in Newcastle. So they don't study with us, they study at the opposition, but they didn't want to go anywhere else. They love the city. It's safe, it's friendly, there's lots to see and do, lots of opportunities for live music, clubs, societies, art galleries, museums, lots, Premiership football. So again, lots of things that are really, when you're thinking about it, especially as an undergraduate, the student life is probably the biggest factor. It doesn't matter where you are in terms of the degree. The degree is going to be similar, I would say, in most universities. But if you don't enjoy your downtime, if you don't enjoy the social side of that city, it's going to be very, very hard to concentrate. So if you're coming from a kind of bustling city like, for example, Istanbul, Newcastle isn't quite as big and as busy, but sometimes it feels like it if you're in the city centre, especially on the weekend. But there's lots of things to see and do. But the key thing is everything is within 10, 15 minutes walk. If you want to go to the coast, the seaside, you can get the metro, you're there in 20, 25 minutes. If you got to go to the airport, you can get in the metro, you're there in 20, 25 minutes.
Excellent.
If you have to go to the shops, 2 or 3 minutes from the main university campus. But you name it, you can do it. Sports, we're normally in the top 10 in the British universities collegiate sports. So if you get any good sports men or women out there, anybody who's keen to carry on doing sports when they get to university, we have some very, very good teams. I think our rowing team, the boat team, is one of the best in the country at the moment.
Excellent. What about the career and job opportunities? Do you have any career service? Because Turkish students who graduate from university after 2020, they have 2 years working options.
Yeah.
So what about career service?
So, very, very good career service. Over 40 members of staff whose job it is to try and help you find placements and then a good job on graduation. We appreciate that, again, this is a stepping stone to the career. This could be the first step. So we have lots of kind of sessions where you can improve your CV. We can give people practice interviews. We also have business incubator units as well. So quite a few people have actually gone off to create their own business on the basis of an idea they came up with at university. So we got a couple of good success stories. Again, if you go to our university website and look at the kind of career section, I'd show you, but I like people to explore and find out for themselves. So there are always opportunities to come up with a good idea and then develop that while you're at university. But the university is very, very strong in terms of placement opportunities. And again, most of our degree programs have the opportunity to do the placements as well. So, yeah.
Okay.
People should make sure they use the career service. It's a service there for everybody. Don't really wait until the final year of your degree. See them from day one. Ask them about how you can build and improve on your CV so that by the time you're graduating, you've normally got a job lined up.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. We are coming to end, and the final question is, what about your English test requirement? Is there any flexibility because of COVID-19? And following that question is, offer holders for 2020, September 2020, do they need to worry? Are you going to open, or do you have any A and B plan for online than physical education? Could you give us a little bit information?
That's okay. So at the moment, we've approved for direct entry password, and we're currently investigating the implementation of that. For our pre-sessional English, anybody who's coming and thinking of coming via pre-sessional English, they can do Duolingo. They can also do password. We're also looking at the IELTS home test.
Yeah.
We're also currently investigating the IELTS indicator test as well.
Yeah.
So we haven't made final decisions on those, but obviously as soon as we do, that will appear on our university website. So we've got a section there which is for COVID-19 for kind of prospective students, so people can look there. In terms of what's going to happen in September, we're all in the same position. We're just waiting to find out what's going to happen in terms of things like social distancing, airports, maybe, I just got an email today. I was supposed to be coming to Turkey in June. I've just been told my flights have been cancelled. So we don't know. There might not be flights available. We have to follow the advice of people like Public Health England, the British government, and all the people, and you have to follow the advice of your governments as well. So the priority, though, is for people to be safe. So absolutely. I would say at the moment, it would be nice if we could open in September, but the longer we're kind of locked down, I would argue it's less likely that we're going to open in September for face-to-face.
What about the online?
So at the moment, teaching has gone online for the rest of this year, but we haven't made the final decision about September. So what we may do, some of the options we're currently considering is starting virtually, moving to face-to-face when it's safe, maybe pushing back the start of the year. So it could be October, November, maybe even January.
Maybe January,
But decisions haven't been made yet, but we'd expect to make that in the coming month because people need to start making decisions. We've already got people asking about things like accommodation, things like that. So, as a university, we will be able to make that kind of decision and obviously give advice to people about what our plans are and what the contingencies are, because if the government says we can't do it, then we can't do it. But if it's opened up by then we should be fine.
I think all the countries waiting end of the May. End of the May, there will be some answer for the questions. We will see. Okay, Stephen, thank you very much. It was lovely to chat you, and it was very good informatives we got from you. Already been 35 minutes. I would like to say thank you again. Would you like to say final words to our followers and the students?
I'd just say goodbye. Thank you very much for taking the time to have a chat with me this afternoon/evening. I hope it's been worthwhile. Please, regardless of where you are, what you're doing, stay safe, and I look forward to seeing some of you in the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Stay safe and have a nice day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, Steve.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.